प्रीति मॅडम तुम्ही करताय का इंट्रोडक्शन?
Yes, sir.
ओके.
Shall I start, sir?
नाही थांबा ना अजून 1 मिनिट बाकी आहे.
Okay, sir.
मॅडम we can start the session.
Sure, sir. Good afternoon to one and all. I welcome Professor Dr. Bhavna Rudra and all the participants on the second day of online quantum computing FTB. Professor Dr. Bhavna Rudra is working as an associate professor grade 2, Department of Information Technology, NIT Karnataka, Surathkal, since May 2018. She has done her PhD from IIT Allahabad in 2015. Her areas of interest are future internet and its security, computer networks, information security, Android security issues, Internet of Things, wireless sensor networks. She has written a textbook titled Flexible Network Architectures, Security Issues and Principles, Taylor and Francis, Florida, 2018. She also published many research papers in reputed journals. She has also grabbed the awards like Emerging Research Award by International Institute of Organized Research, Australia, 2017, Promising Educator Award by International Institute of Organized Research, Australia, 2017, Emerging Research Award by Green Thinkers, India, 2018, Bright Educator Award by Green Thinkers, India, 2018. Her significant projects are design and implementation of alert system device for the avoidance of accidents at curve-prone areas, energy conservation for sensors in harsh terrain of hilly area, detection of objects in hilly areas using sensor-based cameras. So we have such a great personality with us, and her today's topic of presentation is evolution of quantum computing architecture. Thank you, ma'am, for being here. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for the small intro. And I'm not an associate professor, ma'am. I'm an assistant professor in the NITK. So, yeah. And I'll just share my screen. Just let me know whether it is visible or not so that I can start the session. And my research areas are also included the quantum computing and quantum cryptography, post-quantum cryptography also. So I have done research. There are some research papers which got published in this area. So that is how I'm the speaker for this session, as I have some background knowledge in this particular area. So I'll just I would like to share my screen, sir. Just let me know whether it is visible or not.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, and also try to start your video also.
Is it fine, sir? It's visible, right?
Yes, it's visible.
I think my video is not working, I guess, sir. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Somehow it is, some problem is there with the browser address. So my PPT is visible, right, sir?
Yeah, your PPT is visible, madam.
Yeah. So let us start with the session, the quantum information and those case studies, evolution of quantum architecture. So the title, what I felt, evolution of quantum architecture is very small. So I have changed it into quantum information and the case studies along with the quantum architecture. So it includes the evolution of the quantum architecture. It includes the processing of the quantum information and some of the real-time examples, whatever the examples we are going to take in terms of a case studies. Okay. So so there are four types of computers, as we all know: that digital computer, analog computer, quantum computer, and parallel distributed processor. So the as we all know, so these are the systems which we all know. So I'm not going in detail with this. So when we are discussing about the quantum computing and parallel distributed processor, it is like the quantum parallel distributed processor is based on the neural network. So it is almost similar to your brain functionality. So it consists of memory, processing, and connectivity of all the massively distributed units. Okay. And when coming to the quantum computer, it works on the qubits, quantum entanglement, entangled bits for the information process, and it takes the superposition of all the classically allowed states. So same thing in terms of your explanation. So digital computers, they are good at digital based mathematics. Analog computers simulating the differential equations, but they are not good at exact answers, logic, and pattern recognition things. Whereas quantum computers, they are good in solving the classes of factoring large primes, random walks, unordered data retrieval, and they are not good at the exact answers, logic, or the pattern recognition with respect to the quantum computers. The moment when I say they are good at factoring the large primes, here the classical computers use the RSA algorithm, which is based on the largest prime numbers, right? So the moment when I say it is good in solving these certain classes of problems, so with respect to the large primes, then definitely it is the one which is going to break the RSA algorithm in some period of time. So how much and how it is going to break, that you're going to see in the next coming slides. So next comes the parallel distributed processes, which is good for the pattern recognition, unconstrained control problems, imaginations, and innovations, but they are not good at the mathematics and logical reasoning. So this is the evolution of quantum computer. It has come with the EPR paradox in 1935. Slowly, they have analyzed the Bell's algorithm, has come in 1964 with the help of Bell's inequality algorithm, and they have come up saying that some modifications are required, and they have come up with the quantum qubits, okay, so which has emerged in 1970 with the birth of quantum information theory. Okay, so they have presented this concept in the first conference on physics in which was hosted by MIT and IBM in 1980. The concept has emerged in 1970. They have done a rigorous research in that particular area, and they have presented a first paper in 1980, by which they have introduced to the entire world that the quantum information theory can be helpful for various purposes. Okay, so that was the first conference where they have introduced in 1980, and once it has been introduced to all over the world, then people started working on that particular area. So they started working, why only in physics, why can't in the computer, why can't we further take this and extend it our into the various applications. Then they have come up with the topological quantum order in 82, and in 84 they have come up with the quantum cryptography, which was associated in terms with the association of IBM. So the same, the 1970, the researchers who have worked on the quantum information theory have collaborated with IBM. Rather than combined, I can say they have collaborated with IBM, and they have worked on the quantum cryptography in 1984. That too up to a particular level. It's not like everything is well established. It was under research. Even now also it is under research. Okay, so in 1984, just imagine, and from 1984 they started working on the teleportation basis, and they have come up with the various algorithms they want to implement, and they want to, like, it is like, the people started working on it, and they have put a comma for that. not the full stop. If anybody is interested to take it, they can take it for further study. Okay, and in that case they have come up with the various methods, and they have the D-Wave company is the one which has come forward, and it got integrated, and it has now it has been working with the IBM so that they can come up with the new technologies. Okay, so this is how they have emerged. And in 94 the first Shor's factoring algorithm was invented, and they have published it, and they made it to the entire world. And from there the error correction problem has arisen. So because when you are transferring the qubits from one place to the other place, and let me remind you, all these experiments were lab level experiments. Okay, so the Shor's algorithm, they started experimenting, they found there might be an error correction which is need to be required. Then they have come up with the development of Devincenzo quantum computer, okay, which has been started in 96 with the different codes, with the different superconducting qubits and coherence time. So all the complete set of topologies and the algorithms they have combined, and they have come up with the complete IBM quantum computer in 2015. Okay, 2015 they have demonstrated the first IBM computer, and then they have made it available on the IBM cloud from 2016 onwards. Okay, 2016 onwards it is available, and people started working on it. And when they started working on it, the people have, I mean, they have come up with more and more research areas, and they started demonstrating it as it is available openly for all the researchers. So they have experimenting and coming up with the new ideas where they could able to solve the problems. So, when coming to the history of the quantum computing, then I can say the first and foremost it was the quantum mechanics which has been introduced. It is the fundamental branch of the theoretical physics and the wide applications in the experimental physics. The moment why I have taken this history into consideration is, when we are talking about evolution of quantum architectures, then definitely we require some kind of history. I know you people might have studied the quantum history yesterday and today, but it's just a refreshing one for you all, so that you will just know how exactly the quantum architecture works and how it has been come into picture. Okay, so I can say that Feynman has stated saying that the creating machines are based on the laws of quantum mechanics instead of classical mechanics. Okay, so quantum mechanics is the fundamental branch, and it has replaced the classical mechanics and classical electromagnetism at an atomic and subatomic levels. So it is more a fundamental theory than the Newtonian mechanics and classical electromagnetism. So this has provided an accurate and precise descriptions for the phenomena that these classical theories simply cannot be explained on the atomic and subatomic level. So later, after Feynman has described that, later in 85, David has developed the quantum Turing machine, showing the circuits, quantum circuits are the universal one. Then later in 94, Peter Shor came up with the quantum algorithm, which I have already shown you in the previous diagram, right? In 94, the Shor's algorithm was invented, where they have considered the large number of polynomials time, and they have experimented for, and their results were accurate. And in 97, the Grover has developed the quantum search algorithm with a big O of root and complexity. Okay, so the moment I say the quantum is an emerging technology. As if you see from the diagram, from the evolution of this quantum computer diagram, you can say that it is an emerging technology in the future computers. Quantum computing has a great potential when compared to the classical computing, how it is that we are going to see in the later stages. Okay, so it has begun in 1980s as I have described, and it has developed the Turing machine, which was proposed by Paul Benioff, and later Richard has suggested the potential of quantum computer, which is very much high compared to the classical computer. And Peter Shor has developed the Shor's algorithm in 94 for the integer factorization. And this factorization has been used to decrypt the RSA information, encrypted information. That is how it has broke the RSA algorithm. Okay, so in short, I can say the quantum computer is a machine that can perform various calculations based on the laws of quantum mechanics. That is the behavior of particles at the subatomic level. So, quantum information technology, which is nothing but dealing with the computers using the quantum physics, and it is called as a quantum computers. If you see the quantum level from 2010 to 2020, the transistors raised and the use of based on the Moore's law, see the transistors which were used were almost 1,000 in 1970 to thousands of thousands in 2000, right? So this is how the quantum level has hit, and right now we are experimenting so that we can make the devices smaller to smaller size. Okay, where we can say that classical physics is no longer a suitable model for the laws of physics. So we are trying from this level, the bigger level, to the smaller level of qubits, which will come in this form right now. Right now we are using the qubits, and it may be decreased to some more smaller level, so that the quantum molecules, whatever, it can be converted to molecules itself. The quantum particles, whatever we are seeing right now, that they can be converted to molecules, and we can send larger amount of information over the network using small hardware. Okay, so the quantum information is nothing but the computation with coherent atomic scale dynamics. It's a behavior of the quantum computer which is governed by the laws of quantum mechanics. So quantum information, you can say it is an information of state of quantum system. The basic entity of study is in the quantum information theory can be manipulated using the quantum information processing techniques. So quantum systems possibilities count even if they never happen. So like as if in the particle theory. Each of the exponentially many possibilities can be used in order to perform the computation at any time. Okay, so it is more powerful as I have discussed, and the classes complexity of the classes varies from system to the system. Okay, that is nothing but service to the service. So RSA encryption method, which we are using right now all over the internet for secure transfer of information, can be decrypted using the quantum algorithms, so that we can say that the RSA algorithm is also not safe when you are using the quantum computers. Okay, so which has increased the quantum computing and cryptography research and come up with various algorithms. Okay, so companies like IBM, Google, Microsoft are working on different full-fledged quantum computers to overcome the issues of the classical computer and solve the complex problems. And they are applying this quantum computing in various applications for the secure communication or with respect to the finance, with respect to the drug design, quantum chemistry, and so on. There are three types of quantum computers which we are supposed to know, because these are not equal. So even the IBM, the Microsoft, or the Google computers which we have, they also fall into one of these categories. At the end, I'm going to discuss that which category they are going to fall. Or when I'm discussing about these three in different ways, then you will understand which one is falling into which category. Okay, so I'll explain all these things in detail so that you can analyze this with the Google quantum computer, IBM quantum computer, and Microsoft quantum computer. So what do you mean by annealing computer, quantum computing? So annealing is the least powerful and most restrictive form of quantum computers. It is very easy to build, and it is very easy to perform a particular operation and get the output. But when you have when you know that specific function on which you want to work, then it is well and good. But when you don't know anything on for what application you are going to use, then it is of no use. Okay, so the consensus is that the quantum annealer has no known advantage over the conventional computing. It is almost similar to your classical computer, but it will give you the result very soon, the moment when you know that you are developing an annealer for a specific function. I can say this saying that it is a form of quantum computer which is a unproven advantage over the conventional computing. The D-Wave is the one company which has developed this annealer, which is focusing on a control of medium scale systems. Okay, so D-Wave is a company which has focused on controlling of a medium scale system. So where it uses the 1632 control signals in order to have a 128 flux qubits. Okay, and too many for the external control. So it uses less number of qubits for the internal purpose, and for the external control, that is internal control, and for the external control it uses too many say control signals. Okay, programmable, it is programmable on the chip, and it is non-volatile memory. So it holds the time independent bias. So if you see over here, the restricted and the partial and the universal applications, when you start applying, the computational power also varies. Okay, and the difficulty level also varies. Okay, but it is, as we say, it is easy to build, but only for a specific type of operations. Okay, so the when we say, so the Google has claimed that annealer which has been solved 3000 times faster than the conventional computers in a demo. So the annealer, quantum annealer, Google has claimed that with the help of quantum annealer, the solving of any problem is much 3000 times faster than the your classical computers which are available right now. And it will share the external signal circuit, and it is a time dependent, and it reduces to the 83 external signals so that this can perform very fast and gives the output very soon, that is quick output. But only thing is, the moment they started experimenting on it, they know that it requires large programming tools, and so that they can control the magnetic shielding, they can perform the self test, they can perform the diagnosis, and dynamic control has to be implemented. So they all know in order to function these kind of possibilities in the annealer, it requires a well-funded team. That is, it consumes lots of money in order to make it a generalized system into the network. So next comes the analog computer. Analog computer, that is quantum analog computer. So this is nothing but it is it can able to simulate the quantum interactions that are intractable for any known conventional computer. It is conjecturated the analog between the 50 and 100 qubits. If you see the control signals or and the qubits, flux qubits which are required in the uh, annealer is 128, and whereas for the analog quantum computer it is 50 to 100 qubits. If you see, so the generality of applications are you can apply for the chemistry, material science, optimization problems, sampling. So this is not restricted for any particular application. You can even apply for various applications, whereas annealer was for a specific application, right? So when compared to the computational power, you can say it is million times faster than the conventional computer on a specific problems. Whereas annealer, it is almost similar to the traditional computers. So moderately it is hard to build, but once if you build, you can say that speed up is much more higher than the normal computers. Okay. So and this is mostly likely a form of quantum computer that will first show a true quantum speed up over the conventional computing. So this could happen within the next 5 years. So already it has been happened. Okay, this statistics was taken from 2018, 17. So by this time it has been reached. So next comes the universal quantum computer, the third type of computer where it says that it is exponentially faster than the traditional one to a various number of important problems. It solves, okay? It is applicable universally, whereas annealer was restricted to a particular level and the analog computer, the quantum computer was restrict. I mean, it was partially applicable for the applications, and but it has its own restrictions. Whereas universal quantum computer is available universally, and which has the which performs the operations millions to trillions of times faster than the conventional one, and it is extremely hard to build. That is the reason the moment IBM has constructed the IBM computer, so a quantum computer, it has made it available on cloud and people can use it for their research. Okay, so the various applications include the machine learning, cryptography, and searching of operations, and all kinds of analog computer operations which can be built here. So I can say the best example for this is the IBM computer. Even Microsoft is also working to make it as a universal quantum computer, but still they are on the phase to go. Okay, whereas already this has provided, IBM has provided, yeah, some Google and Microsoft has provided the access, but it is very limited. Whereas IBM, it is open. Nowadays, as the users are much more to the IBM computer, so now they are like the users are facing the uh, delay issues, because the moment they try to run something, they have to wait for longer periods in order to get the proper output. Okay, so this is the Gartner cycle, which has been taken from 2015. So where they say that it is having a large usage of quantum computing. Okay, so it says that the moment the it increases, it will able to move very fast and it can capture the industry, right? So they have estimated that $5 billion of market by 2020 worth, so that it can capture and it can come into existence. Or already by 2020 it has come into existence. There is no change, it has already come into existence. So the extra analysis when they have done, they have observed that 2048 bit encryption can be cracked. Okay, and when you start, they have started, that is RSA. If you consider, example I'm taking, if you consider RSA, in 2014 they started the breaking of it, and the moment the qubits have started grown by year, so they say that the qubits of 150% growth was there by 2030. Okay, so in this way, if I say that by 2022, if we are at this particular level, the qubit size is increasing, that is 100% growth every year. And the RSA, when you say that RSA algorithm got broke up at this particular year itself. The moment the qubits have been come into existence, as we have discussed in the previous slide, that they are good for the larger prime factors, right? So immediately we can say that this is work for, it can break the RSA algorithm. So next comes what the quantum computer can do. So it can solve the factor primes, it can provide the secure communication, it can solve variety of problems with respect to the digital computers which they are unable to solve, and it can solve the quantum mechanics or material science problems. Okay, so this is how we can say the quantum computer is able to do all varieties of communications, and all varieties of problems can be solved with the help of the quantum computer with respect to various applications. Okay, so encryption algorithms like RSA are based on the fact of large prime numbers, we all know, which would take the million years to solve it on a supercomputer, whereas quantum computers have proved that in 2015 itself they have proved that it can be detected and decrypted very soon. It can be decrypted in minutes. Okay, so and it is like the attackers can hack it and they can decrypt it very soon. So that is how they have come up with the quantum computers. Even the supercomputer, if we are using, it may take millions of years, but quantum computer will do it in minutes. Okay. So say, and people have a misconception: supercomputer is not a quantum computer. Quantum computer is not a supercomputer. Okay. So because people, they assume that supercomputer means it's a quantum computer, but it is not. Okay.
এবার করলাম
Please, can you mute yourself? So the secure communications which are based on the networking will not allow the eavesdropping, and if even that exists in the network, it will destroy that particular signal. So, and they are not vulnerable to the hijacking attack. Okay, and random walk problem and classes of NP problems can be trackable on the quantum computers. When you have a better solution with the quantum mechanics, then we need to go for quantum computer. Okay, so this is how we say that there will not be a replace for the digital computers, because the moment we say quantum computers, generally people are afraid saying that okay, the normal computers will be replaced by the quantum computers, but it is not like that. We will not replace the digital computers for the day-to-day task. Only thing is we are making the backend to work so fast and so quick that users get the proper satisfaction. Okay, so this is the quantum communication, how it happens, classical versus the quantum communication. So the information bits are very common, so whatever bits you are going to send, So current networks, they will process it and they will send it, right? So when you are using the digital systems, then definitely the qubits, whichever you're going to give, they will process it. They will send it to the network where the quantum communications will take place. The QKD process, key distribution process, has to be performed. Then using the quantum optical networks, the information passed into the network. So this is the difference between the classical communication and the quantum communication. Quantum communication has a two layer security, and when you are sending it, even the optical networks, whatever qubits you are sending it, if a slight change in the bit, it will be known to all the users, saying that there is a some kind of attack which has happened. Okay, so the layer involved in classical computing in 1950 to the current classical computing and quantum tools are as follows. In 1950s, only the classical computing has the algorithms, assembly language, and vacuum tubes and the relay circuits. So if you see this in detail, this is the one. Okay, so today's classical computing, whatever we are using, the algorithms, high level languages, compiler, OS, architectures, various architectures, that is TCP, IP, and OSI model, and the modular hardware blocks which we are using, and gates, registers, VLSI circuits, and semiconductor transistors, right? So whereas when you go for the quantum tool flows, then we are using a qubit implementations, which consists of the QC languages, compilers, error correcting codes, orchestrations of the qubits, and manipulations which are not allowed in the quantum tool flows, right? So even if a small modification in the network will able to detect it, and it will alert all the users. Okay. So the by default algorithms exist for all the architectures. So this is how we are going to balance the generality and performance with the normal architecture. So normal architecture in the sense the digital computers, classical one. Okay, so the quantum complexity theory will be there with respect to the QEC, and the quantum algorithms and algorithm implementation will take care. And this is the quantum computer architecture which is into the existence, where it consists of fault tolerant implementation, classical control, interconnection topologies, and the floor planning. Along with, when you are using the quantum algorithms, you are going to have a balance between these two. Okay, so when you are sending it into the commonality, that is qubit motion, you need to adopt so that it can process it and send the output. Okay, so the small scale multi-qubit demonstrations will be performed. Qubit interconnect technologies need to be adopted, and storage and gate technology need to be adopted in order to have a complete set of quantum computer with you. So these are the flops, the for with respect to this quantum computer. So this is an example which we are considering. So you can see the floating point per second is 8 into 10 power 15. Gates are 64-bit FP, which is multiplied with 1 into 10 power 5 approximately, not exactly. Then gates per second is greater than 1 into 10 power 21, and per 1 month the seconds which is being utilized is 2.5 into 10 power 6. Total computation of the gates per month is 2.5 into 10 power 27, which is like per month it is like this. Total computation per month is 10 power 27. Okay, so it may get 1,000 into better for the next decade. So the QC, you can say that it can solve the bigger problems which are more than the higher rate. That is 2.5 into 10 power 30 classical gates in a month for less than $1 billion. So obviously starting level, so we need to spend some amount, and once it is full-fledged and it is released into the network, then definitely it is not required, right? So this is the layer control framework of the quantum computer architecture. So if you see This is very easy to understand. If you see the applications which are being, it is almost equal to your TCP/IP, right? Layer-wise architecture. So I mean, it's a layers. Whatever you see, it is not exactly your TCP/IP. But the thing is, here we can able to easily understand when you have a comparison with the TCP/IP. Okay, so that is the reason I'm just comparing it, but not exactly the TCP/IP. So the quantum algorithms and the interfaces with respect to the classical user. So all various applications which you have, you can get into this quantum layer 5. Okay. So next, first we will go with the layer wise description. So first comes the physical layer. So the which includes the quantum dots, lasers, and MEMS mirrors. Okay, so the communication link will be created with the physical layer, right? So the physical layer is nothing but it is going to get connected with the other physical layers, right? So qubit, which we are talking about the communication, is an object which has the ability to store the information between the processing steps. So whatever you're going to get it, so it is going to store it and it is going to process it and you are going to send it to the other system. So the I can say the qubit is a complex and physical layer is devoted to control and measure the qubit. So it is almost similar to your classical computer. Even there also the control and processing of that bits will take place and it zeros and ones. So it will take place and it will forward to the other layers, right? Other level, right? So similar fashion here also, only changes there you are going to see the bits, here we are going to see the qubits, quantum bits, right, which are in terms of a laser dots or lasers or MEMS, etc. So next comes the virtual layer or virtualization, you can say. So this is nothing but it forms a base for the quantum error correction layer and the physical layer. So this is called as a metastable spin states of an electron, which is limited to the quantum detection. Okay, so this is like a building block of the virtual qubit, which has the at layer 2. So it is used to measure the Z bases, X bases, and the virtual qubit and the gate, so that what you are exactly using and what will be the output, so that it can able to cancel the errors which will occur using the dynamic decoupling state. Okay, at that particular time, the when you are using the transfer of one information to the other, there some errors may rise, such as the dynamic decoupling. So at that particular level, the virtualization layer is responsible to take care of that particular thing, and it should make it null and void. Okay, the errors which have been raised. So next comes the quantum error correction layer. So what do you mean by error correction? If you see, even the error correction and error detection and correction is available even in the classical computer, right? So what do you mean by why we are going for the error correction? When you are coupling and decoupling occurs in the quantum computer, the qubits may generate some kind of errors. Okay, so the qubits, when they are trying to generate the errors using the phase shift or bit shift, we can able to correct that particular error. Okay, so these are called as the arbitrary errors, which may arise because of noise, because of the transfer noise which exists, or there is a cut in the cut in the qubit, and some kind of I can say some kind of errors might have occurred within the transfer of the information. Okay, so for that I can say, so based on this I can say that it is very difficult to build up a scalable model. That is the reason we are going to have a logical measurement and qubits C naught, so that whatever the injected state we are going to receive, we can able to detect it and forward it to the next layer. Okay, next layer is nothing but the logical layer. So this will produce the arbitrary gate processing of the error corrected gates, which has to be performed at the logical layer. So over here we have a finite number of gates that will be used for the error correction. So if you see the measurement, so if you see the measure of Z bases over here and the logical measurement over here and the logical qubit, but you are not finding the singular inspected state at this particular level, because you are level by level, the protocols whatever you are using, it varies from layer to the layer, and when you are describing the layer wise, then definitely you need to concentrate on what has to be, what has happened at what layer the error has arisen and how to solve that particular error. Okay, so next comes the application layer. So it is a general quantum programming environment, whatever we are using. So all the quantum algorithms and the interface between the quantum computer and the classical system will be applied at this particular layer. So if you see, this is the layer control framework of the quantum computer architecture. So if you compare the time, okay, time scale of the critical operations. So if you see, then the TL, when it starts with 40 PS per second, okay. So the we are going to compare or have a Larmor period, so that if you see the Toffoli gate, whatever the gates which are using, this is a detailed description of what is happening from layer to layer. Okay, so over here you can see that so the various gates are being used at each layer, so that you should maintain the same qubits from first level to the end of the user receiving level. Okay, so how many spins it will take, what are the qubits values, or how many virtual gates have been created, how many got deleted, how many errors have raised, and how you have detected, so how the lattice has been refreshed, so that the C0 gates and logical gates will be applied, and whether that information is logically correct or not will be verified, and then the information will be passed to the higher levels. Okay, so generally the digital systems have the bit, quantum systems have the qubits, which I've already discussed. So the primary piece of information in the quantum information is the qubit, and analog to the qubit is 0 and 1 in the classical information theory. So that is the reason we say that we can adopt this to the, there is no need of replacement of digital systems, and even in order to process it, we require the digital systems. So the two position states of the photon in the Alexander apparatus is an example of the qubit. So these are the various principles of quantum information. So first and foremost, the quantum states will be psi of 0 or beta 1. Okay, in general, this is the qubit. So you have a Bloch sphere where it will state the 0 or 1. Okay. So the quantum entanglement is one more principle which has a special property of quantum particle. So what it says is a pair or group of particles are generated with similar properties. Then you need to apply some kind of method there, so that you can able to understand that only the proper particles will be transferred from one level to the other level. So next comes the quantum teleportation, which is a process of transferring the information from one place to the another place. So what kind of algorithms you are going to use there, how you want to implement it, and where you want to shift it from one place to the other place, that you need to know in order to process the qubits. Okay, so these are the algorithms and the machine gaps which are addressed, and still the research is going on in order to overcome those gaps and have a full-fledged quantum computer. So that is nothing but the Grover's algorithm for the database research, Shor's algorithms for the cryptography, quantum sim and quantum for the chemistry, and QAOA for the gap. So this is the gap from 95 to almost till 2015. There was only small kind of the bits which were used, and they have not implemented the proper how many bits are required, how many we need to go ahead, and what kind of problems it can solve. So that was not estimated. After 2015, the research has come into progress, and as a full into progress, and they started working, saying that we require so many demonstrations to perform and to come up with the more and more appropriate protocols that need to be incorporated into the quantum computer. Okay, next comes the quantum information. Generally deals with the four important topics, that is nothing but the transmission of the classical information over the quantum channels. You need to consider, whenever you are going to experiment with the quantum computer, you need to have a proper uh, steps that need to be considered, and you need to develop the system in such a fashion that it is applicable to the current classical information also. Okay, so there is a trade-off between the acquisition of the information about a quantum state and disturbance uh, of the state. Okay, that need to be addressed with respect to the quantum cryptography, quantifying the quantum entanglement, transmission of the quantum information over the quantum channels. So these are the various, you can say, although it is available, we are using the IBM quantum computer. I mean, as I'm using the IBM quantum computer, so I'm taking that example into consideration. Some other researchers, they may use the Microsoft or Google quantum computer, so they may explain in terms of that. Okay, so when we say, so these are the major issues which have been associated, which is very common with respect to the quantum computer. Okay, so whatever be the quantum computer, these are the common issues that need to be addressed, and one by one, if you start solving, you can build your own quantum computer. Right now we have the IBM quantum computer for the experiment, but you can have your own quantum computer. Then what about the quantum memory? So this is the classical. You can say that photons have been sent. The storage will be in terms of the stationary bits or quantum memory. You can say this as a magnetization. Okay, so the moment when you store it and you make it as a read only, so it is available whenever you want to fetch it, you need to demagnetize it and get the qubits accordingly. Okay, so these are the performance with respect to the quantum computer. That is the features which we need to be considered are the fidelity. Sorry. So fidelity, that has to be considered. Fidelity is nothing but how many photons you are able to send it, and what kind of errors that may arise. So the fidelity factors matters over here. The fidelity factor need to be considered in order to have a efficient transfer of the qubits from one place to the other place. Okay, next the efficiency, storage time, and the bandwidth, wavelength, and scalability, which are very common with respect to the classical computer also. Next comes the supercomputing, there's a big data. So as of today, we know that processing power per second we are going to consider, it is about the tuning enormous amounts of raw data into the useful information, right? But when we say that supercomputer is not the quantum computer, okay, let me clear that. So it can be used for processing the higher computational problems, and it can give you the more and more information from the raw data which is available. So this is about the nano information of the processing technologies. If you see the state variable, you have so many electric charges, molecular states, phase states, and electrically correlated electron states, spin orientation. So this is about the new processing technologies where you are able to construct based on the material, state, device, data representation, and the architecture. So architecture comes with the von Neumann, reconfigurable, and quantum and morphic. What we have seen till now, von Neumann I have shown like analog, digital, and quantum computer, and the uh, neural, right? So those all comes under the architecture. Data representation in terms of patterns, quantum state, analog, digital. And devices which we are using is the ferromagnetic devices, spintronics, and quantum with respect to the molecular, with respect to the sets and scaled CMOS devices in order to perform the operations and send the information from one place to the other place. Okay, so these are the materials which have been used in order to develop those devices, that is strongly correlated materials, nanostructured materials, GN35 materials, silicon, carbon, so on so forth, in order to develop this kind of devices. So that these devices are used in order to represent the data, and these data is used in order to send into the respective architecture for the communication. Okay, so this is how the level by level the nano information technologies have come into existence. So what do you mean by quantum cryptography then? So we have to understand there is a difference between quantum computing and quantum cryptography. Quantum computing is almost the definition you can take it with respect to the classical when I compare. So I can say the classical computer, whatever TCP/IP communication channel without security, you can say that as a quantum computing communication. Okay, quantum computing architecture. When you introduce the cryptography, then it you are making sure that whatever the quantum channel or the classical channel, it is very common that there are plenty of attacks which may happen, right? Even if you are sending qubits, you will able to detect it that there is some change in the qubit and there might be some attack which has happened. Okay, but still you should able to have some kind of algorithms so that you can come make the attack completely null and void. Okay, so for that purpose we have taken the quantum cryptography into consideration. So people have come up with the quantum solutions, quantum cryptographic solutions for the various applications. For that I can say that if you are if you are using a mobile and you're searching and it is connected to your home as well as vehicle, the moment I say that the just imagine your smart city application where your mobile is also connected, your car is connected, your complete entire home is connected to the database, okay, to the permanent databases, data centers. Instead of database, I can say data center. Then I can say with the help of quantum computers, it is very difficult to access your information except yourself. Okay, so interactions with the server centric model will enable the cloud to access the unstructured quantum search information. Okay, but until unless you provide the information, it is not so easy. So when you apply the quantum computing for the machine learning process, it can develop a novel inference models and the data representations for the conventional processes. So this is how there are some conventions where you can apply the quantum computer for various applications, and you can come up with the solutions. Like even the best application I can consider for you is the gaming application, the jackpot one, right? So I can say that the randomness, the jackpot is purely on luck base, right? We say. So the randomness can be generated and can be certified by the quantum computer. So that the random number generators will benefit the consumers as well as the operators, so that they can verify whether the randomness is genuine or not. So that is also one example. So simple examples I'm considering so that you will able to understand the concepts very clearly. And when I'm trying to apply this quantum computing to share the private computations and data with the remote server, okay, so that the information will be stored in the database, even the quantum computer will be blind enough to fetch your to know your data or to read your data, until unless you permit to access it. So this is the best technology to have for the sensitive information. Okay, so such as you can consider the military applications, medical records, and remotely stored and processed information. The quantum computing will act as a blind quantum computing, where it can share the private computations and data with a remote server. But when I say that quantum computer itself is acting like a blind one, then I can say it works on the quantum mechanics to protect not only the input data but also to program the delegated, which is being delegated to the quantum processor. Okay, so this is how I can say this quantum computing will help to process the data and perform the operations very quickly, so that it will be helpful for the user. Okay, and this quantum cryptography, which it offers the information to have a secure communication channel, and the key distribution is much more important, because the moment you are using, although you are using the quantum channel and quantum systems, the opposite may not be the same, right? So there might be chances of losing some kind of information within the network by eavesdroppers who are present in the network. So we can avoid such kind of things with the help of the quantum cryptography methods. So this is how the process will occur, right? Everybody knows this. Sender will send the plain text, then crypto text, and plain text will be decrypted, right? This is the safe one. So the key and secure transmission, key is ready for the use, so that it is very hard for the conventional encryption. But whereas when you are using the annealer with the same encryption process, so this is how the process will continue. So I can say that quantum algorithm on a gate model computer, it will take like, gate model is nothing but your own classical computer. You can consider up to a certain level, where your front end is your digital computer, classical computer, and back end, if you are using the quantum circuit with the gates, then there is a chances. So how this will perform is, it will send the information to the quantum processor or the simulator and performs the operations and gives the output. Whereas when you are using the annealer, so the problem statement is same, but icings like Hamiltonian graphs will be used and the graph embedding will be performed. Then it will be sent to the quantum annealer for further processing. So this is how the post-quantum world has emerged because of the first and foremost is because of using the RSA. So the crack of RSA within the 5 to 10 years, which has made about the 8,000 qubits in a several computers, which can decrypt, and it has its own self life more than 10 years, has come into existence. So that is the reason where people have moved to post quantum cryptography world or post quantum world. So they have found that key distribution process is much more important and it has to be performed in order to exchange the information in the real world. Okay. So most of the encryption methods used today is not safe in a quantum world. So they started recording HTTPS. The attackers started recording the HTTPS sessions, so they may not able to decrypt it now. But after a few years, they may able to decrypt it. In order to solve this problem, so they are saying that your quantum computers are the safest one right now. Okay, so secure communications will move to the symmetric encryptions or hash algorithms to perform the lattice algorithms. So more popular and most sensitive communications like governments and banks, they have already started using the quantum safe algorithms, and we are expecting that it will increase to more and more in the coming years. And you can see this table. This table states that why it is important to have the quantum computer and different cryptographic algorithms with respect to the quantum system. So if you see the symmetric cryptographies, all these can be broke with the help of Gruber's algorithms. Okay, within a half time it will be broke. Whereas with the help of Shor's algorithms, you can able to break RSA, DH, DSA, ECDH. So all these algorithms can be broken with the help of Shor's algorithm. So SHA3, SHA253, Poly 1305, GMAC, SALSA 20, AES 128, 256, all these which has the pre-quantum security level and post-quantum security level. It has been the post-quantum security level got decreased to half of it with the help of Grover's algorithm. Okay, and when compared to the public key cryptography, the RSA 3072 with the signature, with the encryption, so with the key exchange and signatures and all other algorithms, when you see the security level, so they have the 128 key security level, but all can be broke with the help of Shor's algorithms. Okay, so this is how the information in the network can be transferred from can be broken with the help of the quantum algorithms. So these are the case studies. First case study is with respect to the smart cities. If I go for the smart transportation, if I apply the quantum computers at this particular level, then the information, then there is no need for us to depend on the satellite information to grab or the GV. It will send the information and it will avoid maximum of the accidents can be avoided with the help of fast transfer of the information. Okay, so similar fashion, you can avoid the attacks that may arise within this particular area. That is not area in the sense, not the smart city area. Okay, with respect to the applications I'm talking. Fine. So with respect to smart health, with respect to intelligent shopping, smart environment, so those which involves the financial and privacy issues can be directly linked up with the quantum computer. The moment when you link up with the quantum computer, definitely the attackers who are eavesdropping or any kind of attacks, if they are trying to perform, will be able to avoid it up to a 99% level. Okay, so that is how people are turning towards the quantum applications. Okay, so this is one more application in detail. When you go for the internet of vehicles, so within that internally also we are interconnected with our sy- computer sorry system to the entire sensors which are present, and you are working on it. You will get the updates about your car. So you can take this example as a Alto, the recent vehicle which has come. Like you can track where your family members are moving, right? Where they have stopped and where they are moving from one place to the other place, right? That facility has been provided. The GPS tracking is there, but the attackers can also grab that information and they can misuse of that particular information, right? So in order to avoid that, if you are having a quantum communication over the over the network, okay, then you can avoid such kind of attacks, and you can protect your family and others into higher level. So you have to start thinking now about the post quantum computing. So this may take almost 5 to 10 years to replace the infrastructure and software. This is a good advice to start moving your post quantum secure world now. So this is a good place where you can learn about it and you can think about it and you can develop your own applications. So within 2 3 years, I can't even say 5 to 10 years. Already it is a long period which has already adopted, and many people are moving towards the quantum world, right? So I can say within 2 3 years, your information or your the transfer of the information will be up to a high range where you can't even compete with the quantum computers. So nowadays, even the experiments, whatever experiments you are doing it with the IBM or Google or Microsoft, will able to raise high within 2 3 years. Okay, so that is how the replacement has been done, and these are the various challenges associated with the quantum computers. You can even think of developing uh, at least one solution. Concentrate on one challenge and try to develop one particular uh, solution for that particular challenge, then you are also a much more achieved person. Okay, so because the moment we think of developing something, definitely you don't have the quantum computer, first point. Okay, you have to depend on these simulators which have been provided with the help of IBM quantum although they are the live computers. Only thing is, why I'm saying emulators is nothing but they are they will provide you the real-time environment, but they are not with you. You can't carry them. You can't have something in your hand, right? So, so you can develop some of the things. So you can go with the more and more qubit development. So what is the purpose of qubit development and how it will affect the your experiments that you can test it, lower the dephasing and decoherence of the times, non cryogenic temperatures, because it has to able to sustain with the temperatures, noise, and uh, all other things, so that it can protect itself and it can process your information very quickly. Else it will, I can say that this may able to avoid such kind of information in the network. Okay, it may create noise by itself also. You should have a greater connectivity, much lower the error rate, true fault tolerance, and it should be of lower cost. Why we are not able to buy the quantum computer? Because of the higher cost, right? And That is the purpose where we need to come up with the lower cost. All the devices are becoming small and small, but the cost of those devices are still high. So the moment when we get into the picture and when we say that there is a possibility to buy the quantum computer, like how you are purchasing your laptops and all other stuff, then you can say that this works well and good. That is a evergreen challenges which we are facing, and this will remain as a challenges for lifetime. Okay, and before discussing the challenges, along with the challenges, I would like to tell you that the some of the barriers have been overcome, some of the challenges barriers have been overcome, and these have been categorized into 6 parts. Those are nothing but the photons, trapped atoms, which is based on the ions, trapped ions, best known in the case of decoherence and dephasing the time. So when we are saying the low dephasing and low decoherence, so this is where the trapped atoms can play a major role in decreasing the time and coherence one. So this has to be pointed out and it has to be solved. Some atoms will be trapped in the network, and after some time, like they will take longer time in order to perform the operations, right? So next comes the magnetic resonance, where you need to uh, have the more number of bits, and if you are getting continuous more number of bits, then the magnetic resonance will get changed, right? At that particular time, you need to have a proper setting so that they can work properly. Fine. So next comes the quantum dots or photons, where it will be a single photon with the probability of being a two or more photons, so that they can have a no connectivity problem, and the temperature need to be maintained. So the atoms which we are using, they may conduct electricity without resistance. Though if you are utilizing that particular electricity, and if you utilize that particular electricity for some other purpose, then you are the person who is lowering the electricity charges. And the materials methods which we need to consider in order to have a true fault tolerance, you need to decrease the fault, you need to have low error rate, you need to have a connectivity, that all which we need to consider in order to develop such a particular proper quantum computer into existence. So this is how the various challenges, evolutions of the quantum architecture, information with respect to the quantum uh, computers, and the information in the form of bits, which has been transferred from one system to the other system, and all other things have been discussed till now. So now I'm open for discussion. I think some questions have been raised in the chat box. Let me just see.
Yes,
Yeah,
participants, if
now
you
it is
want,
open for the discussion. I hope, yeah, I'm not too late. I've left 10
no,
minutes for
madam,
the
no.
discussion. Yeah.
Participants are requested to ask the questions to the madam.
If they have any, they can come forward, or any suggestions if you want to improve, because I have to take one more session on day after tomorrow. So if anything which you people are interested to consider, and let me take one session on that particular thing. If any suggestions or where you got struck up and you want a detailed discussion, that also you can tell me so that we can have a detailed discussion.
Participants, please come forward and ask the question or say something about the session as suggested by madam.
So only some people have message saying that very informative session. Thank you. That's it. So no more questions.
Hello, sir. More, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
हाँ बोला मैडम.
I think there is some problem with the mic, I guess. Ranjana madam, your mic is not working, I guess.
Ranjana ma'am, you are not audible.
Yes, ma'am. Audible?
Yes,
now
yes,
it is
now
audible.
on.
So, really I like most, and thanks for everything that you have shared. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. But there was actually your mic was muted. Actually, when you have talked something, right? Only I can hear you. Only thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Security part that you have explained, na?
Yes,
That
yes.
how security algorithms can be used and that can be developed using this quantum computing as a base rather than the traditional algorithms. So that part, some last part that you have explained, na?
Okay.
That part I like most in this session.
Okay. Thank you, madam.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Amrita. She
No,
has
madam, I have
messaged in the
one
chat
question.
box. Yes, sir.
Madam, actually, if you toss up a fair coin, then there is always a chance of 50-50% of tail and head, right? But
Yes.
if you play the game against the quantum computer, right? So I think IBM has come up with a quantum computer, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
I have heard that quantum computer gets 90% chance of winning. So what is the specialty of quantum computing? Which
That we will discuss on the practical times, sir. Because there I'm going to show you the Shor's algorithm and all other stuff. So at that particular time, it will be helpful to explain you when how it gives you the 99%, 90% right. Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, because that experiment, I mean, it's not of tossing coin, but that Shor's algorithm, when we are going to show you practically, you will able to understand how the outputs, when we say that there is a 90% chance, that you will able to understand. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Lastly, madam, my name is Ali, and I'm from Einstein Engineering College.
Excuse me,
I have a small question to ask.
can I
Yes,
ask
sir.
a question?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Actually, my question is regarding the proposed architecture by the madam. My question is that whatever quantum computing begins with qubits, and as we have discussed in the previous lecture also, so some of the portion we have also include some digital portion when the
Yes.
discussion, the architecture or whatever on the basis of qubits, it is physically measurable or still not measurable?
I didn't get you. It is physically. That word I didn't get you, sir. Can you just repeat?
Actually, whatever architecture is proposed by you, still
Yeah.
we are discussing some digital portions and
Yes,
some
digital.
architecture are the basis on some microcontrollers as I hear and as I
Yes,
discuss on
yes,
that.
yes.
So it is as similar or some different?
Different with respect to.
Yes, yes, yes.
No,
Actually,
the front end,
yeah,
whatever you are
yeah.
using, we are not going to replace the digital computers, sir. So
Yes,
that is the
yes.
reason I have discussed that some of the portion which we are using is a digital computer, and some of the portions which we are going to have with the physical layer. First experiment level, we are going only with that physical layer, and we will apply it on the digital computers only. Only we are considering the communication channel. Those algorithms we are going to have a experiment later in the further stages when the I can say it is like monument mission. So when the first computer was invented, it was of a whole room size, right? So later now you can carry your laptops in your hand, right? So similar fashion, when the quantum computers also come into existence, slowly this digital computers will be replaced. So that is how I have taken. Right now we are using the digital computers only as a front end, right? Whether you can see the IBM computer or Microsoft computer or a Google quantum computer with your eyes, no, it is not like they have set up. If you get the images, you can see, that's it. but they are not like the digital computers which right now you are carrying. So that is the reason I have considered the portion where exactly we are considering the digital computers for our experiments. Okay.
Okay.
I hope I'm clear. If not, then you can just.
No, it's clear. Actually, my
Okay.
doubt is that sometimes normally we measure about some classical digits. But
Yes.
normally it's preferred for a digital. But is it possible for qubits also?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It is possible.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Nice.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ali sir, would you like to have a question?
Mohammed sir, something.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Mohammed sir, you try to talk something, but I think
Yes, madam. My question was like, with reference to the architecture of quantum computing and the architecture related to the cloud. So, can it be related to one another, or can it be similar to one another with
I
reference to
didn't get you,
cloud?
sir. Can it is related to one another means what is one another?
Like cloud, I'm speaking about cloud, like the quantum computing and the
Ah,
cloud
right now it
environment.
is connected with the cloud only. So the people, I mean, the researchers or the people who are accessing the IBM computer, it is purely with respect to the cloud only.
Is it a cloud, madam, or virtual environment?
What, sir? Is it a cloud or?
Virtual environment, I'm asking.
It's actually the information is stored in cloud, sir. It's
Okay.
and the whatever experiments you're doing, it is a virtual environment which you're going to have on your system.
Okay, madam.
But the data which you're going to store, the results and everything, that will be stored in the cloud.
Okay, madam. Thank you.
Any other questions from the
Yes,
participants?
anyone is having question? You can unmute and ask the question.
I hope I have not bored the participants because it's lunchtime, right?
Yeah, 5
No,
minutes.
ma'am.
Still we are having 5 minutes.
Okay. So if anybody has some question or suggestions, they can come forward.
Not at all, madam. You haven't bored
If
us
you-
because
if-
in the chat box you can see so many compliments are there for you.
Okay,
Really,
thank you,
really
ma'am.
the nice session. This is really the nice session.
No, I made it very simple way so that the people who are new to this,
Yeah.
they can also able to analyze it, whatever is happening. So that is the reason I haven't gone into complicated words or the complicated terms which actually will be used.
Sir, shall we conclude the session?
Anyone, if you want to comment or any want to speak about this session or anything else, they can ask. If you do not have a question, no, you can still talk something if you want to talk.
So anybody?
Okay, madam. I think there is no other question. Then we can conclude.
Yes,
Preeti
sir.
madam,
Yes, sir.
over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Dr. Bhavna ma'am has covered various points like types of computer, evaluation of quantum computer history, types of quantum computing, Gartner cycle, what quantum computing can do, classical computing versus quantum computing, then architecture of quantum computing, qubit, algorithms, then information theory, quantum memory, performance of quantum computing, nano information processing technologies, quantum cryptography and the process, and post-quantum world, post-quantum algorithm assessment, and challenges.
Preeti madam,
Yes, sir.
can you share the material with all the participants in one folder?
Yeah, sir. I
Yes,
asked.
sure, sir.
Yeah, I already asked to the resource persons. So once they send us the PPTs, then I will share the PPTs to all.
Because in online mode, it is sometimes not possible to listen everything. If PPTs are there, people will go through it and then they will be, like, say, using it in their institutes.
Yes, sir. Once we receive the PPT material, then we will share the on our drive or email through email.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yes, sir.
Yes. It gives me immense pleasure to propose vote of thanks to Professor Dr. Bhavna Rudra ma'am. She has given us information which is actually a very complicated one, but she has made it very simple and very informative session. Hope all have enjoyed the session. Many of us have given the compliments to her that it was a very informative and simple session. Thank you so much, ma'am, for spending your valuable time with us. And we will see you on day after tomorrow for the next session.
Thank you,
And
ma'am.
we will
Thank you
be
so
waiting
much.
for your session eagerly, ma'am.
Yeah,
And
thank you
we
so
will
much, ma'am.
do things in a simpler manner in that session also.
Yeah, sure,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
I'll make it very simple so that it can be understandable to all.
Yes.
So that they should feel quantum computing is so easy to understand. Should
And
be very simple.
that is the objective of our ABP is the introduction to quantum computing like this. Okay.
Okay.
So it's introductory ABP actually.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Thank
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
madam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you to one and all. Now we will have a lunch break and we will resume after the lunch break for the third session of the day.
Third session will start sharp at 2:30 p.m.
So we will resume at 2:30 p.m. sharp for the
Yes.
third session of the second day. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Post the attendance first of all, attendance and whatever the information asked in the chat box. I think attendance link is posted in chat box.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Borse ma'am, you again post the link in the chat box. Okay.